Welcome to our Travellers Championship preview with PickGuru and RotoWire, the weekly PGA preview show, the home of winning PGA picks and the best plays on the PGA Tour each week. I'm Matt Hardy, I'm head of content at PickGuru, and I'm joined as ever by PGA expert Len Hochberg from RotoWire. Len, have you recovered from an enthralling US Open last week?
I have recovered, Matt, and good to be with you. And yeah, it was a fun, entertaining tournament. I know a lot of my English British friends on Twitter, on golf Twitter, were rejoicing in Matt Fitzpatrick's victory, and congratulations to you if you were celebrating. A very likable and worthy champion. So it was a fun tournament all the way around for me, and hopefully for you as well.
It was indeed, yeah. No involvement with Fitzpatrick myself, but very, very nice to see him get his head in front in one of the biggest stages of all. So yeah, I think it was a popular victory all round. Moving on to the Travellers this week, we have £500 up for grabs for our £10 category picks game. There are games at £2 and £50 as well. If you want to play, just follow the link below and you can get involved. We're going to be running through the categories in that game and discussing our outright picks for the tournament as well. Last week, Len, you did select Matt Fitzpatrick as one of your category picks. You also went for fifth place Rory McIlroy in the top category. I went for Zalatoris, who finished second, and Matsuyama, who finished fourth. So between us, we hit 4 of the top 5. So hoping for more of the same this week.
Fantastic.
And we're gonna, it was 4 out of 5. We'll take that every time. We are gonna dive straight into the hot favourites category and get your first selection this week.
Yeah, the week after a major is always a consideration for me, especially for guys who are in the thick of things on Sunday. So most of the time, most of those guys, I will sort of downgrade a little bit. Thankfully for us, but not necessarily for Patrick Cantlay, he has not been in the thick of it in majors all season. It's kind of inexplicable because you take away the 3 majors and the Players Championship, and he has finished in the top 10 in 6 of his 8 starts. Last time I checked, the Travellers is not a major or the Players. But all kidding aside, he's played this course very well through the years, back to when he was an amateur, and he shot a 60 here. It was just a big moment back then. He is been in the top 15 the last 4 years running. I like him best of that bunch. Of course, at this point, we need to see him get into the top 10 and not the top 15. But he has been really sound all year in the non-big tournaments.
Indeed, and we should point out we think that Justin Thomas has just withdrawn as we're speaking, so Thomas won't be in this top category, so it reduces it to 3. I am also with Cantlay, so a double vote for him. Like you said, his record after majors is quite eye-catching, especially this season. 39th at the Masters. He followed it up with a runner-up at the RBC Heritage, and then he missed the cut at the PGA, and he followed it up with 3rd at the Memorial. So I'm hoping it's a 3-2-1 this week, and he goes on to win this week's tournament. Lovely all-round profile for this week. Trends well, tee to green, putting, scrambling. Strangely, he's only 61st for shots gained approach, which surprised me, but he tends to vary quite wildly in that category, and he's hardly a bad approach player. And he ranked 4th for that metric at the Sony Open, another short course, 1st at the RBC Heritage, another short course, and 20th at the Memorial a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, Cantlay for me as well. So we started off in harmony there with 2 votes for him. Let's move on to the front runners category and get your selection.
Yeah, it was very nice to see another top 10 golfer in a second category to be able to go with another big time guy. Sam Burns for me. You mentioned that a little bit about the TPC River Highlands. It is a shorter course. They try to pinch the fairways around the 300-yard mark to keep the guys from really bombing it. It's only 6,800 yards here. I think this course, like a lot of short courses, you just can't hit it as far as you want. You have to think your way around the golf course. It takes some experience. Sam Burns has played this course 3 times before. He was 43rd his first year, 24th his second year, 13th last year. That is some real progression and some real smarts. Of course, Sam Burns is also getting better as a golfer everywhere over the course of that period as well. But it shows me that he's learning the course and figuring out the nuances, which you have to do on these type of courses. I like him in this category. He did not have a great Sunday at the U.S. Open. He could have been in the mix, but I think that he was out of it sufficiently early that there won't be a lot of wear and tear on him come Thursday.
Yeah, 2 of Burns' victories have been on short-ish courses this year. I noted down Colonial, about 7,200, and he also won the Valspar at Innisbrook, 7,194. This is even shorter than that. So, yeah, should be at home in these conditions. I was between him and Xander Schauffele, and as a point of difference, I'll go for Schauffele. Perfect profile for what I'm looking for. 7th tee to green, 12th shots gained approach, 16th greens in regulation, 9th putting average. I've focused a lot this week on par 4 scoring averages and metrics around them. There's a lot of drivable par 4s, I think, around here. Xander's very, very good for those. 9th for par 4 scoring average, 6th for par 4 birdies or better. Positive outlook for him, I think, at this week's tournament. Let's move on to the US Stars category and get your selection here, please, Len.
Yeah, and just to piggyback on what you were saying, yeah, par 4 scoring. Very often I talk about par 4 efficiency for the longer par 4s, which we see just in growing exponentially on the tour, 450 to 500 yards. Looking at that stat, this week it's 400 to 450. There are a lot of holes in the shorter par 4s, as you mentioned, and there are some even far shorter than 400, including the famous drivable par 4 15th 296 on the scorecard. That is a fun hole to watch every year. Really can turn things late in the tournament. But getting to the U.S. Stars, Davis Riley is in that category, and really Davis Riley is becoming a star. I don't know if he would have been in this category 6 or 8 weeks ago, maybe U.S. Guys or something like that, but he is becoming a star. He had a run of top 13s broken up at the U.S. Open, but he still had a pretty decent U.S. Open. He was 31st, nothing to apologize for about that. He's really the one guy in this group that I like best of all. Some of the others have played here before and have not. This is his first time at this course. That is a bit of a concern based on what I was saying about Sam Burns and experience. But Davis Riley's been playing all these courses these last number of weeks for the first time, and it hasn't really stopped him that much. Top 50 on tour, greens in regulation, in putting, strokes gained putting, strokes gained total, the all-important strokes gained total. Davis Riley is going to have a bad week at some point. It's just inevitable. Let's not hope it happens this week as well. I don't think it will.
Fingers crossed for the sake of your picks. I'm with Aaron Wise, who is fast becoming a favourite of mine on this show. I seem to pick him most weeks. His great form continues. You know, he was 27th at the US Open last week after a bad weekend. He opened up 68-68 Thursday, Friday, and was bang there. He faded away over the weekend, but still finished 27th, and I think that's another feather in his cap. 16th shots gained approach, 23rd tee to green, 17th greens in regulation. Does well on the par 4s. Didn't think there was much not to like about Aaron Wise this week, and I'm more than happy to stick with him. Let's look at the World Elite category, and where has the Hochberg hammer come down?
Yeah, Seamus Power is coming off. What a story he is. 35 years old. He had never played in a major before this year. He's made the cut in all 3. There aren't a lot of guys who make the cut in every major every year or any year. and he is 3 for 3 right now, and just a fantastic player. And it was actually a good week at the U.S. Open. It wasn't really just a made cut, but more importantly, he fits in very nicely here. Just two key categories: greens and regulation. Really, greens and regulation is maybe the standard strokes gained approach. Greens and regulation. Every week you can look at that and start there. And if a guy is good there, that's a good foundation. He is 9th on the PGA Tour in greens and regulation. Also 52nd in driving accuracy. That may not sound so great, but that's pretty darn good. You're over 200 guys in the category, who are counting. And so 52nd in the top 25% roughly. As I said earlier, they start to pinch the fairways around the 300-yard mark. I think everyone will probably club down a little bit, but Seamus Power gives us a good foundation there with driving accuracy as well.
Yeah, I really like Power. I chose him last week, and he obviously did us well. I'm with Tommy Fleetwood here this week. I just feel as if he's playing the shorter courses quite well this season. 35th at the Charles Schwab, 10th at the Heritage, 16th at the Valspar. His short game is amongst the best in golf. 14th around the green, 18th for putting, 40th tee to green, 26th scrambling. It's exactly what I'm looking for. And within the context of this category, I was happy to be with Tommy, and hopefully another good week for another Englishman in Connecticut. Let's cover off two categories now, Len. Let's do US Challengers and the Contenders category, please.
Yeah, U.S. Challengers. I'm going to go with Brian Harman. I imagine he's going to be a very popular pick this week, and rightfully so. I mean, outside of Bubba Watson, who has won this tournament 3 times but is not in the field, recovering from arthroscopic knee surgery a number of weeks back, Brian Harman is the real horse for this course. He was 5th last year. He's been in the top 8 for the past 7 years. And I like him also because he plays the long courses very well. He for a little guy, he can really compete on all kinds of courses. But in that par 4 efficiency category, 400 to 450 yards that we talked about a little bit earlier, he is ranked 12th on the PGA Tour. And in the contenders category, actually, I feel sorry for these guys because they're not U.S. contenders, world contenders. These are all guys without a country. And so let's give them a little bit of love. And I'm going to go with Maverick McNeely. He has only missed 1 cut on tour all year. That happened to be last time out at Colonial, but just a very solid player all around in all kinds of settings. 42nd in strokes gained total, the all-important strokes gained total category.
Yeah, US Challengers. I went for Brandon Steele, who I think this category will be split between Harman and Steele. I think they'll be the two. He has 8 top 25 finishes at this course from his last 11 starts. So he's a real course specialist. That includes a 5th and a 6th. He's in very good form coming in, having started the year desperately. He's finished 9th and 10th on his last 2 starts. He arrives here fresh. I think it'll be between him and Harman for the popularity vote. And I found the contenders category very difficult. I ended up with Webb Simpson, 2 top 10s here in the past. Very hit and miss this season. I always feel like he's perhaps better on a shorter course where he can plot his way around. So Webb Simpson for me in the contenders category. Let's finish off with outsiders and wildcards and get your final 2 selections, Len.
Yeah, these were tough categories, especially outsiders for me. Talk to you every week or a lot of weeks about Brendan Todd. Love him on short courses. Do like him again this week. I like bordering on love again. But Harris English in the same category to me is too good to pass up. The defending champion. He's only played 2 tournaments back since his surgery. He was out since January, I believe. I was surprised he made the cut at the U.S. Open, but he did. He finished far back around 60th or something like that. So I don't think golf is the issue for Harris English this week. I think the issue is whether his hip can withstand back-to-back weeks. Obviously, he thinks he can. He showed up for this tournament. He's the defending champion. I think he is too good to pass up in this category. And lastly, in the wild cards, Joel Damon, I think he'll be a popular play this week based on last week's Open, just like Denny McCarthy in a couple of categories ago in the contenders category. I'm fading these guys. I think, they're going to have to, come down a little bit off the high of competing in a major and being in the mix in a major. I'm going to go with Aaron Rai this week. Just a very solid player. We've talked about him a bunch. 25th on tour, driving accuracy. That's phenomenal. 31st in greens in regulation. He's made 6 of his last 7 cuts. His last time out in Canada, another short track, he was 13th. Really like to see him down there as an option that far down in our categories.
Yeah, he's a real favourite of yours, Aaron Wright, and he's been a great pick all season. So here's hoping for more of the same. I am with Brendan Todd in the outsiders category, short course specialist. 5th for shots gained putting, and 5th for driving accuracy on tour this season. Unbelievable when I saw those two. He's also 11th for scrambling, so he has a lot going for him. And he obviously gets his favoured short course this week. My final pick in the wildcard section is KH Lee. Difficult category. I think you can make a strong case for Rye, which you've done, and Damon, which you mentioned. Lee has made 5 of his last 6 cuts, which is a refreshing change for him because he's starting to finally put some consistency together. And that's when he's at his most dangerous, I think. He obviously won the Byron Nelson not long ago. And he'll do for me in a very open final category. Let's finish like we always do, Len. Can I get an outright selection from you to win the tournament?
Yeah, I we've seen a couple of we have a really good field for the week after a major. We always do at the Travelers. They always seem to attract a good crowd, but we have had a couple of withdrawals, big name withdrawals, and so the field is a little bit weeded out a little bit. But I do like Patrick Cantlay. As I said, in the non-majors, really perplexing why he's not playing well in the majors, but in all the other tournaments, he's right there in the mix. In a lot of them, he's come close to winning this year. He hasn't as yet. Very good course history here. I will say that even though I am avoiding mostly guys who played meaningful minutes, as I like to call it, in the major last week, Scotty Scheffler is not on that list for me. Scotty Scheffler, I would not surprise me if he won. I'm not picking him, but he just seems to go through it. Nothing seems to bother him. Nothing seems to slow him down. He's had 2 runners-up since his last one. I just want to put it out there on the radar for everybody that Scotty Scheffler could do it again this week, but Patrick Cantlay is my pick.
Yeah, Cantlay was 14-1 at the start of this show, but since Thomas's withdrawal, it looks like he's come in a bit, understandably. So between 10 and 12-1 by the looks of it with UK bookmakers. He was my headline selection in my column as well, so I'm more than happy to stick with Cantlay. But as a point of difference, I like Schauffele, but let's have a flyer. I'll throw a flyer in who's not even in our game. I'll go with Tom Hoge at a triple-figure price. He obviously won at Pebble Beach, short course. He was second at the American Express, another short course. I think he's showing signs of coming back into form, and I think this place will suit him. I think he'll go well. So an absolute flyer and wanting to be different from your fine self, Len, with Cantlay, I'll go with Tom Hoge for an upset.
Like it.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for your time, Len, and your insight and your picks, as always. Good luck to all the PickGuru players out there who get involved this week. Good luck to all the DFS players out there, whichever game format you decide to play. Please download the app, get involved, and the very, very best of luck for the Travelers Championship.